Hi, my friend. It is Friday. You know, I love Friday. I'm Pat Sloan, and this is my daily chat. We have a topic a day. I've got our sew along, and I've got a fun Q&A that I'm going to tell you some background story to a book of mine, one of my older books. So today's topic, even though when I taped this on Thursday, it was sweltering hot, like sticky, humid, like in the major I mean, we could have been like in the tropics. It was so steamy and humid yesterday. But fall quilts is the name of the game. And the other day, so you can share a photo of one of your fall quilts over at Quilt Along with Pat Sloan in my community group. It's always a fun show and tell when we do that. But I brought an older quilt of mine because I went to find a different quilt. I have an Oh My Stars done in some fall colors, and I was going to bring that, and it wasn't where I thought it should be. But instead I found a different stack. My quilt stacks are a mess, so there we go. But I brought this older quilt to show you, so let me do that. It is from 1997. 97. Oh my gosh. I wasn't even doing, I don't know, I may have been doing a little teaching at a local shop in 97, but I don't know. And I don't know, this may have been a design from Red Wagon books is what I'm thinking. But here it is. Here it is as a fall pomegranates. I'll lift it up a little bit so you can see it. Can I peek around there? Yeah. So here is, I'll bring it all the way up. And I quilted it. I also did a really weird for me, I guess I was trying out this the faced applique and then top stitching it. So you can see, let me see if you can tell. Whoops, you can tell nothing, can you? Because I'm not even showing, it's stuck on my leg. Okay, there we go. I don't know if you can see the dimension on that leaf. Yeah, see it's like edged. So I did it, 2 pieces of fabric, right sides together, sewed them, slit the back side, turn it inside out, and so they're fairly thick. There's 2 layers of regular cotton, fairly thick, and then I top stitched it. Now if I had blanket stitched it, it would have held that edge down. It wouldn't have given that lifted effect, because these actually kind of look like they are sitting on top, but they're not attached down. So even like the point there, can you tell? It's like it's not even attached down. So that was what I did. Here's the back. Since I know some of you like to see the back, I piece the back. I have a hanging sleeve. So there is the back side of my pomegranates, and it's very fall. It's very fall looking. I can only vaguely remember making that in 97. So one of my goals is to be truly documenting all these, because for some reason I had a major blank spot in my brain about documenting all my quilts. I had pictures, but I didn't do them in any kind of, yeah, oh well, it's a mess. So that's your assignment for today, your top topic for today of fall quilts, and I showed you one of my older ones. Now, this is week 3 of bringing home the Christmas tree. There are so many of you playing along with this, sewing along, and we are seeing amazing fun. Some of you have, like, one person has animals in the windows of the car from an animal print fabric. One had a whole bunch of little people, and I recognize that fabric line from years ago. So we are on week 3, which are the 2 trees and the gingham blue car. So down below is a link to the website, because I know you have the book to do this, and some of you have zoomed along and you've made the whole quilt already, which I expected, because you know, once you get started, sometimes that's fun to finish. But I've got the table runner. So on the table runner, you can see I have 2 trees on this side and 1 tree on this side. And I have a picture of it on my website, and I have the layout I used, you know, not the pattern for the car, of course, because you have to have the book, but I give you the spacers, you know, what I used. Anne made this for me because I was not able to do that. She did it for me, and this is what she put on the back. The little deer, I just love that fabric. So I was excited. Now, I also looked into the bench pillows because a lot of you were saying, oh, there's bench pillows, bench pillows. Well, this is a really big car. And so most of the bench pillow forms are too small. I did link you to one where you can do just the car. So if you don't want to make your own pillow form, there's one that you could do just the car, but without the tree. You would not be able to put the tree on the top because the bench pillow is not tall enough for that. But it would be just the car, which would be really cute. So if you did the table runner and the quilt, and then you did a bench pillow of maybe the trees, and a bench pillow, a regular pillow of the trees, which is a square, and the car as one pillow, that would be super, super cute. So I did link you to one pillow form that was big enough. Some of them really, they make them skinny, you know. So they're not tall enough, they're not wide enough for the car. And I found none that were wide enough for the car with a tree. So you might hunt around and find one. If you do, let me know. It's always good to know these things. I did progress on the spools. I decided I was just going to do it. I don't know. For me, it's nice to have this daily challenge. This thing is just this one little thing. Even if I do a couple of them and then a couple of days I don't actually sew the blocks, I've made them ahead. But these super easy blocks that we're doing for the scrap busting. So today is the 11th, which is, so here's my 11th block. I used I had some of this fabric from Amy Sinibaldi, which was one that was music oriented, and I thought these drawings of the drums and the violin or the fiddle, depending on how you what you see that image as. Greg's always loved the fiddle, and so I thought I had to have the fiddle in there, even if it's supposed to be a violin, because I think the line is named after Beethoven or something. So I'm sure it's not a fiddle. I also put the first 2 rows together, the first 10, and I made the blank spools. So there we go. You didn't see a couple of those. Here's a couple on the bottom. See the blue one? I made the spool. They're all the same fabric. I made 3 blank spools, 3 empty spools, and I already showed you the sweater one. So you didn't see that blue triangles or the bird. So those are the 2 that I missed showing. So I've got this. Now I can keep up, I think. I will do a few of these at a time whenever I do them, and then that'll be really cool. It'll be a great memory for this month, and it's very doable. They're very, very doable. Okay, I have on this wonderful Friday, I was excited about the spools. I was excited, got that done. It's like, yes! But 3 empty spools is enough, I think, for me. I don't want a lot of empty spools. Somebody said, make an empty for every one. Well, my jar, I probably have almost 30 in here. So I don't want a whole quilt full of empty spools. So 3 is enough. Okay, whoops. I better put this here. I can't see what I'm doing, nor can I hold that well. Ha. What was I going to do? Oh. Okay, the Q&A was from Dee. Dee asked, our friend Dee. Dee says, my 9-year-old granddaughter wants me to teach her how to sew. What kind of project should we start with? So my great big thing is for anybody who's new at anything is to do something small that you can finish and feel successful. So it should be small, and easy, no complicated stuff, and try to get it done in the shortest amount. Try to have the project big enough, you know, that it can be done in a short amount of time. You don't want to be dragging on because that loses people's interest. So if you're in my Quilt Along with Pat Sloan group, you'll see a lot of people teaching their children and their grandchildren, and there's a lot of pillows, pillowcases. If you do a pillow with a folded back on it, I mean, those are easy because you're just basically making 3 rectangles and then layering them and going around the outside edge, you know. So, you know, the square for the front, 2 rectangles for the back, and you've got a pillow. Tote bags are good, like super easy tote bags. There's a lot of those. You could do a simple placemat, a table runner, a scarf, a cotton scarf, or you might have some fleece. That would be really good for fleece scarf. A little bit of, a little bit of sewing there, nothing complicated where you have to do too much. You want to get a few squares, a few rectangles, sew them together, layer it up, and you've got a finished project. Now I do want to tell you about a book that I wrote a long time ago. I've written 37 books, basically with 2 publishers. I was with Leisure Arts first for about 30 books, about 28 books. I did 2 with another magazine who published books. And then the other 7 books have been with Martingale, my current publisher. But when I was back with Leisure Arts, this is one of the books I did, which was I Can't Believe I'm Sewing. I had a whole series of I Can't Believe. And this one was on sewing, which was basic projects, simple projects to get you going, and a lot of info in here to tell you, how to do things. Like there was a section, I'm going to see if I can find it quickly, like here, how to clean your machine. So, that was the basic stuff, just the basics to get people going, how to thread it. And here we have like some easy pillows, there's shower curtains. But the fun part, I talked about fabric and stitch length, and then have all of these really cute projects in here. Coasters were one of the first one. Here was a scarf that we did, and it had fleece here for the flowers, and then just a little cotton scarf. A little bit more seams though. You could do that same scarf with just a strip, and it's got fleece on the back. Now this book is available digital, so I have a link to the digital store where you can pick up a PDF copy of it, which is only like $9.99. So if you're teaching somebody, there's a quilt in there, so if they get a little more advanced, they can make a little baby quilt. But there's a fun story behind this, because you see these 2 ladies on the front, and here I'll show you the one where there was 3 of them that came that day. When I worked with Leisure Arts, there's the 3 ladies. When I worked with Leisure Arts, they often would have either the staff come, and I basically was like teaching a class, and while I was teaching there was a photographer there, and this would generally take all day, like about 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours out in the afternoon of the teaching part. But there'd be setup and take down between photos and maneuvering cameras, and so it would take a full business day. But what they did for this particular book is they decided they wanted to have some younger women come to be in this book, people who look like young moms. And nobody on staff really was young mom looking at the time. So they called the modeling agency and said what they were going to do was have them come, and I actually taught these 3 ladies to sew that day. They'd never used a sewing machine. I think one knew about it a bit because like her mom or her grandma had one, but she didn't really do any sewing on one. The lady in the middle was Miss Arkansas, and she was going to pharmaceutical school now, and also still modeling on the side for a little college money. So they were delightful, and they were so enthusiastic. But the really fun part was that when Leisure Arts contacted the modeling agency, they had to tell them to come dressed casual, because they don't normally go to a photo shoot dressed in their jeans and their casual clothing and casual makeup. They would come more spiffed up because they would be doing a fashion shoot or something like that and expect a whole different environment. So this environment was really different, but they had a great time. They really loved it. And they all, one of them, I forget which one it was, and it may have been this lady in the yellow who said that she was definitely going to sew afterwards, that this was definitely on her list now. So I thought that was fantastic. But in the book you'll see pictures here and there of me teaching, and that was basically what we did all day. And there's also close-up shots of things being done like this, those kind of things. And during the class time, the photographer was taking those shots as well. So by the end of the day, he had all these close-up shots of things, and he had sort of these shots of people sewing and learning for the teaching part of it. It was such a fabulous experience. The photographer was generally did fashion work or portraits, so this was a little bit out of what he normally did, but he said he had a great time and enjoyed it. We did have to play some music though at one point because the office was just too quiet. So I thought that was pretty funny. Okay, here we go. Friday, time for you to share your fall quilts with me and get your third row of Bring Home the Tree or Make a Table Runner. All right, my friend, I love you so much. Have a great weekend too. I'll see you tomorrow. Mwah. See you online.